is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee. Of course, it's a Wealth Wednesday, so my girl Stacey Tisdale is here.
Woo woo! Happy Wealth Wednesday, everybody, and we are styling today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to do that.
I love this type of talk.
We love this is our favorite. We are so thrilled to be joined by the one and only Alexandria Alli, and she is the founder and CEO of F&W Style, and it's an incredible star is among us. Alexandria has been featured in Oprah Daily, Vogue, Essence, In Style, Black Enterprise, and she has created an unbelievable luxury handbag and accessory company that is in over 1,200?
1,200.
Over 1,200 stores nationwide, including TJ Maxx, Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, and Marshall's.
Yes.
I'm like your new PR.
Yeah, I know. I'm loving what you're saying over here.
No, but it's awesome.
And you know, I love some bag talk.
Yes, she
so
does.
this was exciting. I met you at the Digital Undivided.
Yes.
And what I also love is the fact that you really are out there networking in those spaces too, which is something that's important for a lot of entrepreneurs to do.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like that's something I wish I had started at the beginning of my business. I learned that as I went on, and it's like just meeting people, you just never know how that can connect you to something else, like this opportunity right now. Yeah.
And the importance of the pitch too, because being able to get up in those high pressure situations in front of people and discuss your business and also know what people are listening to is about, like scale and numbers and things like that. So let's start from the beginning of how you first started, because this was like in your blood.
Yeah, and before you even do that, when you were talking about networking, you had told me before, it did not come easy to you, and you do not like it, and you had to put a system in place.
Yeah, I had to put a system in place. Like, people see me now and they think I'm very extroverted, and really I had to teach myself to become this way. So what I did when I first started my business, I'm like, okay, you need to go out there and meet people. What you're going to do is go to these events. You're going to have 5 business cards. Once you give it to 5 people, you can leave. And so what happened is I kept doing that. And after a while, I would go to these networking events and people would be like, oh, have you met Alexandria? Oh, hey, meet this person. And then it just kept going from there.
No, I love that, because a lot of people tell me they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not comfortable in those spaces all the time. And so for a lot of people, that is part of the business. They call it networking because it is still part of working.
Yeah.
You know, but let's start at the beginning, because like we said, this is in your blood, this fashion.
Yes, it is. So I started out, my mom was a designer actually when I was growing up in Lagos, Nigeria. She owned a design studio where we used to go on weekends and every day out of school. I didn't know back then I was actually learning things that would help me with my brand. When we moved here to the States, I started modeling.
Big time modeling.
Yes.
You were big time modeling.
Yes, I was modeling, wanted to become the next Naomi Campbell. That didn't happen. So I was like, you know what? I need to go to business school, get my MBA. I did, and I worked in banking for a long time, but I just never felt fulfilled. I was not happy there. I knew I wanted something in fashion. And back then, nobody was owning their own brand. So when I would talk to people about it, it was kind of like, what do you mean? But my husband was just pushing me, and he said, if you want to start, it doesn't matter what anybody else is saying. You should start and find what your happiness will be within this. And that's how I started sketching and talking to people.
I just see a lot from your background that has led you to this place where you've been so successful today when it comes to growing up and having the access that you didn't even think about. It kind of was osmosis of you understanding and learning fashion, then working as a model. That really helps you understand fashion from a different aspect too. Then working in banking, which helps you understand finance. All of those things do come together to create like the perfect entrepreneur. And then your husband feels like also a piece of the puzzle too. Can you talk about how that's been?
Look, he has been, because I have 2 kids as well, and just having somebody to support me and kind of have my back when sometimes, I mean, as an entrepreneur, you feel like you're an island by yourself. So having somebody to be like, you know what, you can do it, go ahead, we're good, we're a team together. He's very much a part of the business, and he does all the stuff that I don't want to do, like the financial part of it, the IT part of it. He does a lot of that, and we work together so well. But he knows he has his own lane. I have my own lane, and we kind of work. You know.
What I love about your story is you spent 9 years in corporate, and you got your MBA.
Yes.
And then when you came to this realization with your husband's help that you didn't want to stay in corporate anymore, you were very strategic about how you went into entrepreneurship. Tell us about that.
So I feel like a lot of people, they say, oh, you want to be an entrepreneur, leave your work and chase your dreams. That's great and all, but for me, one thing I know is it's hard to be creative when you're worried about where your next paycheck is going to come from, or how you're going to pay, or how you're even going to survive. So what I did was I was like, okay, if you were to go part-time, how much would you have to make in your business in order to be able to do that? So I put all the things in place. I would be in events. I would be going from store to store, trying to get them to carry the line. Once we got to a point where we were making enough for me to go part-time, I did. And then again started working to be able to go full-time doing my business. And I did the plan for that. And once it got to the point where it was like, okay, you need to make a decision if you're going to do the business or stay at work, then I did. But it was a step-by-step. It was never a rush.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
How did you find the right manufacturer to help? Because I can imagine how hard it would be. You want to design these amazing quality bags, as you can see if you're watching. But at the same time, it's not easy to find somebody that can fulfill that for you. So tell me what that process was like.
It was a lot, and we wasted a lot of money. So my first order of bags that we did from a manufacturer that was recommended by somebody came back, and all of our name was spelled. So instead of FW Style, it was FW Stell.
Oh, God.
Like, and when
I
you
know
have,
you were like,
oh, no. Really? And when you have something like that, it's like, what do you do? Shipping it back, the cargo
cost of that alone.
It's like,
do you still have to pay for that?
Oh, yeah. It's already been paid for by the time it got to me. So it's like,
so they didn't take it back because they'd made a mistake.
They would take it back, but I would have to pay
Ship
for
it.
that. Cargo and then cargo back.
That is a wild mistake to make.
A very wild mistake. And, there was others like that until
So what did you do with those bags?
We gave them to, it was a charity, Dress for Success.
Oh, okay. I worked with them
that's
too.
fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was years ago, and we were able to, because there was nothing else that we could do with
Right.
it.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. So we did that. And then we've just been kind of trial and error, and also knowing that I don't have to have as much inventory as people tell you that you have to have. So finally we landed on our manufacturer. We've been with them for 10 years, one of them, and then the other one for about 7 years. And now actually we partner with them to help other brands private label and manufacture their handbags for their brand as well.
You touched on something interesting, and I know based on a conversation we had prior, you said if you had it to do over again, you might not have spent so much of your own money up front.
Yes, I wouldn't have, because I feel like we're told that you have to have 200, 300, 1,000 in inventory, but you can negotiate. A lot of the places where we're manufacturing, they're used to that negotiation. So do that and just create the minimum that you can. Once you learn how to sell that and it sells, you can always order more, but you don't have to start out with 1 million bags or even 10 bags in 10 different colors and all of that. So people want to appear big, but it's like grow to be big.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
Because now when it comes to, you said you were going yourself to stores and retail to try to get your bags in there. What was the first place that picked you up?
So I would never forget it. It's called Moonkeys. It was a sugarloaf where I worked in Atlanta, and I was working as a banker at the time, and I would go from store to store. Everybody said no. Absolutely not, because I literally only had 3 bags in my collection. No, not different colors, just 3 bags. And they're like, no. And then also back then, as a Black woman, in the luxury space, people were not open to that. They didn't understand it. What do you know? What family do you come from that you know this? So it was hard, but I found this lady that said, if you do a pop-up in my store and you bring people and people buy, I will start to carry you and carry your brand. So I called every family member, every friend. Some friends were like, well, I don't have money to buy. I was like, well, I'll pay you. I'll give you the money and you can buy it. Like, I did all that, and we packed the place out. And she started carrying my line. She was the first one, and then she referred me to a hotel, Ritz-Carlton at the time,
that's a nice
started carrying my
referral.
line. And then other Ritz-Carlton started carrying my line, and we just kept going from there.
Those are fancy places. And I know now, like we mentioned, you're like in Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom's, but your mission was really to make this type of luxury affordable to working women. And that's that it goes back to some things you observed when you were modeling, right?
Yes. I mean, I've always loved, even when I modeled, I loved luxury handbags and things like that. And I could not afford it at all. Even while I was working, I couldn't afford it. All these $2,000, $3,000, $10,000 bags. So I said, how about if I make something that's the same quality, that's beautiful colors, and affordable for women, and made with the best grade leathers, and, do that. And so that's what I did. I've worked hard to make sure that it was affordable in all these spaces, because even when you go to Bloomingdale's now and you buy some of our bags, it's a lower price point, but the quality is unmatched. So,
and let me ask you this. Some people are hesitant to be in like a TJ Maxx and a Marshalls. So because sometimes they think, oh, you see my stuff there. And they do, and trust, I like to shop in both of those places, by the way. But I know for some people on that side that you're on, they can be a little hesitant. What were your thoughts about that?
Well, I'm not going to lie. At first, when they approached me, I was just kind of like, oh, what does that say about our brand? Or does it devalue it in any way? But absolutely not. The same woman that's shopping at Bloomingdale's is also the same woman that's looking for a deal at TJ Maxx Marshalls.
The same day.
The same day. So it actually opened us up to a wider audience. We were able to do Essence last year, and so many people were like, oh my God, I have that bag from TJ Maxx, I have that bag from Marshalls, and it has really helped to expand us in different categories.
Yeah, I've heard financially it's good to be in stores like that, which people don't understand. That's why I wanted you to expand on that, because a lot of times you're like, I want to be in Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's, I want to be in stores like that.
Right.
Not understanding financially, it can actually be better for you.
Yes.
Definitely.
I mean, because they're ordering thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of bags, in these stores, because they have so many locations.
True.
That has been a blessing. And also, the same things we carry at the same quality and everything, but it's not the same exact styles that we carry in TJ Maxx Marshalls that we would carry in like a Bloomingdale's.
So talk about how the first big retailer found you.
So we'll talk about one of them reaching out to us on Instagram. So they reached out to us. It was a buyer, and literally she has her profile picture. It was a cat. And she's like, hey, I'm a buyer for a large retailer, and I would like to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. Here we go. So I'm like, okay, here's the email address. But she was a buyer, and she just loved our branding.
That was with Marshalls?
That was with TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
So she just loved our brand and then decided to go with that. And then same with even Bloomingdale's. It was an event that talked about networking that we were doing. They saw our production we did for Atlanta Fashion Week. They thought it was beautiful, and they invited us for a 2-week pop-up. Then a month-long pop-up. Then now we're carried in their stores, and we'll be online next month as well.
Talk about white labeling too for other brands now and trying to help other brands out. So what would you tell somebody who is starting their own line and they're like, this is so hard to be able to do. How do I get myself out there? The branding is so difficult. The market is oversaturated. What would you tell someone?
When it comes to oversaturation, I feel like sometimes we spend too much time thinking about that. I mean, Beyonce at the level that she's doing it, she's not worried about oversaturation. So the more you elevate your brand, the less you have to worry about that. So my advice would just be focus on what you're doing. Focus on doing it so well that they can't ignore that you're there. Start one step at a time. Do one thing just every single day for your business. That's what I did while I was working full time. Is every single day I would do one thing, make one phone call, reach out to one new person. And after a while, all those things start to accumulate.
And you really focus on, even though the success you've reached, on staying right there in terms of what you should be doing to grow your business. You're actually in New York right now on a business program with Goldman Sachs.
Yes.
Talk to our entrepreneurs out there about finding those business development programs.
Yeah, I think stay tuned to a lot of those companies and like Digital Undivided, like New Voices, Goldman Sachs. They have these programs that really help entrepreneurs get you to the next level. So this program I was in with them, they looked through every single inch of our business and told us how to grow, how to become the next multi-million-dollar brand. And that's what this program was about. It was a grueling 6 months because it was almost 4 days a week we did stuff with this program. And being a mom and a wife and running a whole business, it was a lot. But I did it, and I'm here for the graduation, and so that's why I'm here in New York.
You must have excelled because I heard you giving the keynote at the graduation.
I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's going to be tonight, and I'll be giving the keynote and just getting everybody pumped up for this amazing week that we're about to have.
How hard is it when this is something that is your baby, and then you have to take like critique and feedback and criticism, because sometimes you have to like not take it personal, but it is personal.
Yes, it's very personal, especially like as a creative that I'm drawing it. So like I'm sketching out ideas that I'm having that I'm so passionate about everything that I sketch. But sometimes we make it and people are just like, it's giving no. And I just have to,
It's giving no.
It's giving no. So, and I just have to like take that and understand that it's not only about my creativity, it's also about what people want and what they want to see. And that's what's going to keep my business around for a long time. So I have to realize, I've just had to realize that over time, it's not just about what I want to create. Yes, that's a major part of it, but it's also about what the market is asking me for.
One last thing from me.
Yes.
I know you have a lot to talk about, but you make the point entrepreneurs have to realize it's not just a one-way street up, and to have the multiple streams of income and to pivot and not always expect things to go.
Yeah, I know, sometimes we make it seem, and I'm included in this on Instagram, that it's like you just put your stuff on Instagram and hundreds and thousands of people are just buying it. And it's just not true, especially in this economy. With my business, in order for us to be successful, there's several things that we do. We do events. If you look on our page, we're always doing some kind of event. We sell wholesale to stores and boutiques. We also do private labeling and also work with other designers to manufacture their brand. Then we have our e-commerce. So all these things together is what makes it successful, because it's always going to be up and down. It's never a straight shot up. So you need all those other things to lift you up when one is going down.
And you talked about earlier spending your own money, right? Have you gotten investors? And
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't gotten any investors yet, but it's something that I'm really thinking about, because in order to be able to scale to the level that I want my brand to become a household name brand. So I know that at some point it's going to have to come in, but thankfully we've been able to fund ourselves, with my own brand right now, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because people have to understand how difficult that is, just using your own money to fund your own brand. But it is also a great way to make sure you have a lot more power when it is time for you to get an investor to see what you've been able to do and accomplish on your own. And so they can see how valuable this is to take it to the next level.
Yes. And as we continue to grow, the hard part is when you have orders from large retailers that you have to fulfill, but then you have to wait. You're not getting your money right away.
You don't get your money
you're
right away.
Waiting for manufacturers to finish. Then you're waiting for 60 to 90 days after they receive the product to pay you. That is a long time.
You're really putting out
and
that money
dancing
until you
with
can
your
get it.
people you owe money to.
Exactly. So that is a long time to not have. So that's where I see why so many people are getting investors, because as you continue to grow, it really is tough to do that on your own.
And you did also a spinoff line, right? So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we have FW Corp, which we talked about, the private labeling, and we provide handbags for brands like Hallmark Mahogany and things like that. But then we also have Lena Rich, which is a new line that is named after my son and my daughter, Alina and Aldrich. This line is more of a vegan leather line that is going to be launching soon in a big box store. I don't know if I can say it yet, but anyway, it's going to be launching
someplace
soon.
we shop.
Yes.
Speaking of shopping, you have a pop-up. at Bloomingdale's this week.
Yes.
If people want to
Yes.
come and touch these in person.
Yes. So Bloomingdale's has been such a fantastic partner of us. I'm just excited to be with a company that wants us to do all these pop-ups and events, and they want to partner with us for things like this. So this Saturday, I will be at the Bloomingdale's Soho from 1 to 4. We'll be having a pop-up there. So if you're in the New York area, please come out and see us.
All right. Well, I love it.
And
Well,
also
thank you so
shop
much.
at your website.
Yeah, shop at fwstyle.com, and then follow us on Instagram, FWStyle.
I love it. Well, thank you so much
Or
for
invite
joining
her
us
to
for
be
our Wealth
on your
Wednesday.
show and take the bags.
No, I do. I think these bags are so beautiful. And y'all know I
Look
love
at
some
this.
bags.
Look at
So
this. The crossover.
a nice crossbody.
It was lovely having you on the show today.
Stacey, come back with the bags. No, but honestly, congratulations with everything that you've been doing. Every time I see you, it's like a whole nother level. So that is the goal.
We're very
always.
proud
You
of
are
you.
goals.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you can check out Wealth Wednesdays Entrepreneurs Facebook group. We'll have a lot more with Alexandria, and we have some great free resources for all the entrepreneurs out there.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.